All right, let's get practicing in QuickBooks Online. Grab the link below in the description so that you can follow along. All right, here we are in the QBO Gym. And the QBO Gym is a place where we have numerous exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Every single month, we come out with new exercises for you to practice and complete, and we break it down for you into 4 different sections. Today, we're going to finish up in the January cool down section. At the top here is an animated video to give you an understanding of what you, the bookkeeper, will be doing for your client, Craig, this month. Below that is an interactive quiz to test your knowledge as it relates to the video up above. Below that are the exercises within this section. And then at the bottom is an optional area where after you have completed these exercises, we have some sample posts that you can use on LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's dive right into our last exercise in the cool down section where we're going to practice dealing with problems closing the books. So go ahead and click on that link to get the exercise pulled up for you. I have it over here on the right hand side, so let's see what our scenario is. It's the end of the month, so you go to close the books. When you click save, you get an error message. How did this happen and what can you do about it? Let's take a look. You will need to be in the sample company for this exercise. Now, if you're not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBOA account, be sure to click on the link below in the description. I have the sample company pulled up over here on the left-hand side of my screen. This is the dashboard. So now let's get started with the exercise. This is the error message you received when you tried closing the books. It's kind of small here to see in the screenshot, but it is right there. You will see it a little bit later in the exercise as we go through it. So what happened here? This error happened because one of the inventory products has a negative quantity. So let's see how this could happen. To quickly see the number of items currently on hand for each inventory product, we're going to visit the products and services list. To do that, we're going to click on the gear icon and then click on products and services. Over here is that gear icon, click on that, and then in the lists column is products and services. Go ahead and click on that. Now we can use the filter to view only inventory products. So let's click on the filter icon and then click on inventory. Here is that filter icon, click on that. And then under the type, we're going to select inventory and then click on apply. Now here we can see how much of each product is currently on hand. We'll note that there are only 2 rock fountains. So if I scroll down a little bit, there are 4 different inventory items. Here is that rock fountain and there is that quantity on hand is showing us 2. Now to replenish his stock, Craig buys 3 more rock fountains. But let's see what happens if he records this purchase incorrectly. We're going to recreate that expense by clicking on the plus new button and then clicking on expense. The plus new button is over here on the left-hand side. Click on that and then under vendors, select expense. Let's go ahead and fill it out. In the payee field, we're going to select Tim Philip Masonry. So click that down arrow, or you can start typing in his name. I'm going to scroll down until I get to him. He is right here. Go ahead and click on that. Now you'll notice that when you select Tim Philip Masonry, a purchase order pops up in the drawer. We're going to ignore that for now, but keep it open. Here is the drawer right here, and here is that purchase order that's showing up. Now, the correct way to purchase inventory products is to use the item details grid. But let's see what happens if Craig uses the category grid instead. So here's that category details grid, and then the item details grid is here if you expand that arrow. But we are going to fill it out in this area instead of the correct way, which would be the item details grid. So in the category column on the first row, we're going to select fountain and garden lighting. So click into this category. You can go ahead and either scroll or we're going to start typing in fountain and garden lighting. And you want the one that is not plural, but the one that is just fountain and garden lighting. Go ahead and click on that one. In the description field, we're going to type 3 rock fountains. So go ahead and type 3 rock fountains. Did I spell that right? I did not. Let me try that again. Got 3 rock fountains. There we go. Now, in the purchase order pop-up, you can see that we previously agreed on a price of $125 for that rock fountain. What if Craig thought that this was just a reference and used that to calculate the amount? So in the amount box, we're going to go do 3 times 125. When you tab out of this field, QBO will automatically calculate the total of 375. So go ahead and click in that box 3 times 125. When you hit the tab key, you will see that QBO has made the calculation of 375 for us. Now we're saying that this is what he just thought was a reference right here. If we had used the item details grid, we would put the quantity and then the rate and then the amount would be calculated at 375. But since he did not use this correct area, he used the category details, he had to make that calculation and put that equation into this amount field. So that is why we did that 3 times 125. So now we're just simply going to save and close this. Go ahead and click on that green save and close button, and that expense has been saved. Now back on the products and services list, we can see that this purchase has no effect on the quantity of rock fountains. You can see that right here, it is still showing as 2 on hand. So even though Craig specified that he purchased 3, he didn't do it in the item details grid as I previously showed you, so QBO doesn't recognize it. So now what happens if Craig sells some rock fountains? Well, let's just say that he sold 3 rock fountains to Freeman Sporting Goods, 1 at each of their locations, and then we'll see how that changes things. So let's click on the plus new button and then select sales receipt. That is again on the left-hand side. Click on that, and then under customers, you will see sales receipt. Click on that. And now let's go ahead and fill this out. In the customer field, we're going to select Freeman Sporting Goods. So click that down arrow and you can either scroll down or start typing it in the customer field. We're going to use the parent account of Freeman Sporting Goods, not one of their sub accounts. So click on that one. Now in the product service column of the first row, we're going to select Rock Fountain. That is right here. Go ahead and click into that, and you can click into it 2 times and see that it's pretty close here to the top. So go ahead and click on Rock Fountain. Now we're going to indicate that this was for the main location in the description by typing Rock Fountain main location. So go ahead and click into that and do that, type that in right there. And now we need to repeat this for the other 2 locations, the one for Twin Lane and the one for Ocean View Road. So click into that second line 2 times. Again, we're going to add Rock Fountain, click on that. In the description, we're going to just add that this one is for the Twin Lane location. And then this one, we're going to do one more time. And again, select Rock Fountain. When you click into that box 2 times, from the drop down, you can click on Rock Fountain or you can start typing it in that box. And then in here, we need to change this to Ocean View Road. So now we are showing that there were 3 rock fountains that were purchased and that they are showing that one was for the main location, one for Twin Lane, and then one for Ocean View Road. Let's go ahead and save and close this one. Click on the down arrow right here and then select Save and Close. And that sales receipt has been saved for us. Now, notice that even though you are selling more than you know you have on hand, you didn't get any kind of warning or error message when you created that sales receipt. However, you can see the negative quantity reflected in the products and services list. Right here, it is showing as -1, even though we know based on the scenario that that is not correct. So now let's see what happens when we try to close the books. We're going to click on Accountant Tools and then click on Close Books. That is right here on the top. Click on that one. And then under the quick links, we're going to close books. We're going to click into the accounting section and then click on the close the books slider. So that is this one right here. Click into it anywhere you would like. Here is that slider. Go ahead and click on that. And then we are going to enter the date by typing in a lowercase t for today. Obviously, in real life, you would use whatever date you are actually closing the books. So type that lowercase t right there, and then we're going to go ahead and click on save. Now you will see that there is this error, the one that we were talking about at the beginning of the exercise. This is the error that we are getting that is showing that we cannot close the books because there are a negative quantity on hand of products, specifically for the rock fountain. So now we need to go ahead and fix this problem. We're going to click on the X to close, and then it's going to ask if you want to leave without saving. The answer is yes. So go ahead and click on yes. And now let's go ahead and fix the problem. There are two ways to fix the issue. If you did not know which purchase transaction created the problem, you could do an inventory quantity adjustment. So let's see how you would do that if that was the route we needed to go. Click on the plus new button and then click on inventory quantity adjustment. That is right here, that plus new button. And then in the other column is the inventory quantity adjustment. Click on that. Now in the product field, we're going to select rock fountain because that is the issue that we are finding. Click into it 2 times and rock fountain happens to be right here towards the top. Click on that. Now you would do a physical count of the inventory and find that you actually had 2 rock fountains left in stock. So in the new quantity column, you would type 2. So go ahead and type that. And QBO will automatically change the amount in quantity to 3. Now, in our case, we do know which transaction created the problem. So let's go that second way of doing it to correct it. So this is one way that you could correct it, but we're going to show you the other way that you could do it as well. Go ahead and click on the X to exit out of it. You're going to ask if you want to leave without saving. Go ahead and click on yes. Now let's fix it the other way that we could fix it. Let's do it that second way. On the left navigation bar, we're going to hover over expenses and then select expenses. Here is that expenses right there. Hover over that and then select expenses. You may get some pop-ups that show up. Go ahead and click out of those. Now the expense that we just created will be at the top. It's that one right here for Tim Philip Masonry. We're going to click on View Edit of that line. So that is right here in the action column. Click on that. Now what Craig should have done is added the purchase order from the drawer. This would have added the rock fountain to the item details grid where it belongs. So let's go ahead and click on the add right here. When you do, it will move over here into this item details grid. Now, when hovering over the quantity, QBO will display how many of these items are currently in stock. So we want to change this. You can see currently it says the quantity on hand is 2. So let's change this to 3 since that's how many were purchased. Now we no longer need the item that is in the category details grid, so we're going to click on the trash can icon. This is the one that we do not need, so click on that trash can right there. Let me try it again. There we go. So now we are only showing those 3 rock fountains that were purchased in the item details grid, and it is showing for that total of 375, which is how much he had purchased them for. Now we simply need to click on Save and Close. So go ahead and do that. And now let's go back to our product and services list. Once again, we're going to click on that gear icon and then click on products and services. Right here is that gear icon. Under lists, click on products and services. And now here, if we scroll down a little bit to the rock fountain, we now see that the quantity is 2, which is correct, and that is what we wanted it to be. So that is one way that if you have a problem with closing the books, you know now how to fix it. And if you have any questions or want to know more about the QBO Gym, just go ahead and click on the link below in the description. That concludes our January issue and year number 1 of the QBO Gym. Congratulations. Be sure to go back to the previous year's exercises to keep on practicing and hone in on those skills. And stay tuned for an announcement about year number 2 of the QBO Gym, where you really get to challenge yourself. And I will see you then.